Things I used to do on Friday nights. All right, that's all right. Fatherhood for the rest of us. Brandon Hanley here. I'm leaving Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm smacking the mic. Things I used to do. What time is it? It's 8:30 or so, right? Christy, Beth, what's up? So things I used to do on Friday nights. Usually like Friday nights 10, 12 years ago. Friday nights 10, 12 years ago. Like Meg and I would probably like have a couple cocktails, hang out, and just drink and hang out at the bar, man. We'd probably be at the bar right now, talking to some drag queens, eating sushi, and laughing it up. What's up, Chrissy? Sam? We would be laughing it up, and not a care about like tomorrow being Saturday, and even before then, late 20s, early 30s, definitely late 20s. Just I'd probably be blasted out of my mind right now, getting thrown out of a bar somewhere. So that's where I've been. Where am I now? I'm leaving Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that's Meg's at home with the kids. Thank you, Meg, for letting me get out. I needed to get out. What's funny is Charlie King shared this article. I actually haven't seen it. He read an article talking about men in depression and not having enough like connections outside of just being married or work and having those friendships. And they found that the men who were happiest were the ones who went and had a pint, at least, and got together with their friends at least 2 times a week. And I feel like while maybe I'm not consciously trying to develop like these deep and meaningful relationships with other men, and I don't think I would be ashamed to say that I was, but so here I am tonight, and rolling and learning and growing with these other men and women at the jiu-jitsu. But I think for me the primary part is learning with these other men and having that male contact that has been missing. It's not like you notice it, and it's like the more you notice it. I mean, it's popping up in the news all over. And I reached out to Harvard, did adult studies. I reached out to if anybody actually knows anybody at the Harvard Adult Studies group, I'd love to try and get in contact with them and have them on. I promoted in the Fatherhood for the Rest of Us group and another group, and I'll put it on the Fatherhood for the Rest of Us business page, the article that I shared today, just talking about depression in men and where it kind of comes from. And I put together a webinar, I think for the 28th, Wednesday night, I believe, at 8 p.m. EST, for like men just to get together and like have a place. That's really all Fatherhood for the Rest of Us is to have a place where we can talk amongst ourselves and still be manly men, but share stories, man. Talk about just talk about anything. Talk about cooking. Talk about what's your health like? I don't know. Is your prostate enlarged? Do we even need to talk about that? I don't know. But it's just a conversation, and it's without judgment, and it's without it's where you can express a little bit of gratitude to each other for being there for each other. I'm trying to think about what Charlie posted. A fellowship, as it were. We could all be like Lord of the Rings, except different. Because I don't know any hobbits. I don't know where any hobbits live, and Gandalf has passed away. So it's just a place where we can all get together and have some real conversations and know that you're not alone. I forget who I was having a conversation with, but I know kind of like some of his backstory, and he was telling me he's getting ready to release some of this very vulnerable backstory to the public in the future. And I said, when you do that, when you release some of your backstory, some of the things that you feel like are your limiting beliefs, you believe that if you let people know that this is your story, you're going down in flames. Well, the thing is, man, you're not the only one in this whole world who has a similar story. It's not just you. I know I'm not going me too. I am going, me too. So I've had plenty of benders. Things have gone up my nose. I've had drinks, whatever. I've had just ridiculously stupid stuff that I've lived through, and thankfully nobody got hurt. I'm not the only one. And somebody who shared that with me, actually for the first time outside of a close friend, was Jason McKenzie in his book, The Dadly Book of Open. I will highly recommend that book. I will highly recommend that if you are looking for a coach and I'm not a fit for you, and you don't feel like there's something I can do to work with you, I highly recommend you reach out to Jason McKenzie. I highly recommend that you reach out to Dave Gieselman, Tony Lee Hazlitt. If you're, look for somebody who you can share your story with and work through any of your limiting beliefs, because I guarantee you, you're not the only one. And I guarantee you there's going to be people out there, they're not looking at your story. They're meeting you for the first time for who you are today. Who are you today? Who are you today? I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know your history. And guess what? I'm not going to bother and go look, because I don't work for the... Oh yeah, we're back. History is not as important as your future. All right, what can you do? Where can you go? Where do you want to go? Where would you like to be? What does that look like? Have you ever sat down and thought of what your ideal life would look like? Have you written it down? Have you said it out loud? Have you shared it with your wife? Have you shared it with your husband? Have you shared it with your kids? Have you had your kids share it with you? Just said it out loud. And I think that's really all I got, man. It's just really good to get out and have some of, like I said, that men have got to get together and have those conversations too. And it's not just you. You're not alone, men. You're not the only one going crazy trying to raise the kids. You're not the only one who's feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. You're not the only one who's not taking any time for yourself but needs to. As fathers, and you are doing enough. You're probably doing more than enough. You're probably doing too much. There's probably something that you could be cutting out, that you should be cutting out. I don't know. But you've got to decide. You've got to make a decision. What do you want for your life, and what do you want for your family? And write it out. Have that conversation. And go out and hang out with some dudes, because sometimes your wife just doesn't want to hear you talk. All right, guys. Talk to you later.